Welcome back to Fight Weekly. This week we travel to Nashville, Tennessee for UFC Fight Night Derrick Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira. In this video we'll cover the main and co-main events and be on the lookout for another video covering the rest of the main card. We've got two fights to look at, Derrick Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira to headline the card, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim to lead us into it. Now let's start with the co-main fight. Stephen Thompson is well past his prime, coming in this fight at 42.5 years old. Take a look at that last five and you can tell he's been on a down skid, but we'll get to that in a second. Gabriel Bonfim is 27 years young and on a completely inverse pattern recently. Their heights are comparable and Wonderboy has a slight advantage on the reach, but that doesn't seem like it'll be enough as the odd makers have him at a plus 300 dog and Bonfim as a minus 420 favorite. Now Stephen Thompson is a fan favorite with his classic karate fighting style, and to even be competing at 42 years old in this weight division is impressive. Unfortunately for him though, you can't beat Father Time, so let's review what he's done since his last win, which came in 2022 against Kevin Holland. Wonderboy put a beating on Holland, and fans thought that Wonderboy would have a late career resurgence as he beat him by retirement in the 5th round intermission. It was clear that Kevin Holland was gassed in that fight, and Wonderboy was able to capitalize off of it and get a win inside the distance. It was after this win that things came crashing down for Wonderboy though. It started with a 1-year layoff due to 2 canceled bouts, and he came back to take the hardest fight in the division at the time, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat played the game plan perfectly, pressuring and going for takedowns and scoring almost 8 minutes of control time through 2 rounds. Eventually getting Wonderboy down against the cage and using the Kimura grip, he's able to find an adjusted rear naked choke and beat him by submission. And after that was his latest fight against another young Buckley in the division. People don't remember that the scorecards were tied going into that 3rd and final round. They were all over the place, but they were tied nonetheless. Wonderboy had Buckley beat on the feet, but Buckley used the takedowns and control to wear him down. He finally pressured him enough with aggressive striking to back him against the cage and get a brutal knockout. And this weekend he will be fighting Gabriel Bonfim. This guy's a star in the making. He's 4-1 in the UFC with 3 finishes, all coming by submission. Let's take a look at that first loss he suffered back in 2023 when he fought Nicolas Dalby. Bonfim did great in the first round, keeping it competitive on the feet and even getting Dalby to the ground in the 1st and 2nd rounds. He really looked like he was controlling the fight, but he runs out of gas in the 2nd round, lets Dalby up, and Dalby does not let go of that momentum, pushing Bonfim against the cage and working the strikes, the uppercuts, and the brutal knees until one of them drops Bonfim for a KO loss. But every fighter needs to take a loss to learn, and he came back looking better in his next showing where he fought Angelusa. A bit more careful in this fight as he goes the full distance, but what an improvement in striking he had, landing double the significant strikes as Lusa and coming out victorious with his first UFC decision win. And in his last fight he took on Chaos Williams. Bonfim got back to his old ways here, getting the darts and a submission win in the last seconds of round 2. And not just a submission win, but he put that boy to sleep. It's a great matchup of old versus new, striker versus grappler. They say styles make fights, and this one definitely fits the bill. Do y'all think Wonderboy is still fit to give a beating and maybe get a KO win, or will Gabriel Bonfim have his way and put the old dog down? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And for our main event, we have a heavyweight brawl. It's Derrick, my balls were hot, Lewis.
Derrick Lewis, Derrick, why'd you take your pants off? My balls were hot. I understand.
Versus Tallison Teixeira. The Black Beast is coming in this weekend as the plus 200 underdog, and the metrics alone could explain why. He's 40 years old compared to Teixeira's 25 years. There's 4-inch height and reach difference in favor of the younger fighter Tallison Teixeira as well. Not to mention Derrick Lewis has not had a consistent win streak recently, but Teixeira still holds an undefeated record. Let's review Derrick Lewis's fights since 2023. There's 4 fights to look at, but notice 3 of them happened in 2023, so he's definitely slowed down in the last couple years. First is the fight against Sergey Spivak. Spivak takes Lewis down in the 1st minute of the fight. Lewis tries his patented just stand up move, but that gets him into more trouble, and eventually Spivak is able to secure the choke and get a submission win. Next, he comes back against Marcos Rogerio de Lima and does what we all thought would be impossible at 260 pounds. Flying knee out the gate, Jorge Masvidal style, and a KO finish within a minute. And just when we thought the Black Beast had it figured out, he fights Jailton Almeida, who drags him to a 5-round decision. Almeida scored over 20 minutes of control time, that's over 4 full rounds, and beats Lewis dominantly, not giving up a single round on any of the scorecards. It was a bad loss, but is it because Lewis isn't good enough, or is it because he doesn't care enough? And then his latest fight was against Rodrigo Nascimento. Nascimento followed the blueprint, grabbing Lewis in the clinch and getting the takedown early in round 1. To the untrained eye, it would look like Derrick Lewis had no answer for the ground game, but why doesn't he just try to get up again? Lewis had enough of that control game and was throwing clubbing strikes in the 2nd round, shrugging off the clinch and control attempts from Nascimento. And both fighters are exhausted come the 3rd round, but the power in his hands was still there, and an overhand right connects for a clean knockout win. And with that, he comes to Nashville this weekend ready to fight the new blood Tallison Teixeira. Teixeira has only had 2 fights in the UFC, and one of those was a Contender Series fight where he easily finds the KO victory and scores a UFC contract. And after that fight, he took on Justin Tafa. Fans were hoping the Tafa brothers could make a comeback starting here with this new blood, but Teixeira looked amazing. It only took him 35 seconds to strike the winning blow, an elbow thrown against the cage that hit just a little too hard for Tafa, and it's a round 1 KO win for Teixeira. Here he is, coming to cement his spot in the UFC, trying to get a big win against a modern UFC legend, the Black Beast. It's going to be a Royal Rumble, and whoever lands the clean shot is most likely walking out of the cage with a KO victory win. Do you think Derrick Lewis still has enough at the age of 40 to take care of this, or will the young blood stand up this weekend? Drop your prediction in the comments below. Thanks guys for watching the main and co-main event fighters breakdown for this weekend's UFC Fight Night, Nashville, Tennessee. Keep an eye out for my other video covering the rest of the main card if you're interested. Drop a comment with your thoughts and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more Fight Weekly content, and as always, let's enjoy the fights.